Welcome to Presidential Experience Live. Pretty excited that I have accomplished 5 episodes in a week. Can you believe it? Yes. And can you believe that you've been here with me? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. You guys are the best audience in the world. I literally could not do this without you. I really couldn't. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because I need you. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get into today's show because I only have 10 minutes and I have a lot of information to share with you. I said we're going to talk about the brain today. So if this is your first episode, go back and listen to the other ones. We are doing an episode every weekday and it's live. It's no editing, no intro, no outro, no legalese, no none of that stuff. It's just me and you talking. I'm not editing it. I'm just coming at you live. And I'm dropping a little bit of knowledge that I have in my head about mental health. So to recap this week, we've talked a lot about COVID-19, how it is affecting us, how we can thrive afterwards. And we've also talked a lot about mental health overall, like just kind of how is our mental health affected these days, especially right now. It seems to be more affected more than anything. I think you can tell me what you think, because I told you you can send me an email about what we're doing, podcast at presidentiallifestyle.com. So breathe. I'm on 10. I don't know if you noticed. I can't even tell you what just happened, but I'm going to tell you later if we have time. But let's talk about the brain. I want to tell you what we're going to talk about. So we are going to talk about the brain and not in that like scientific, nerdy way, just a real simplified way. And some of you are thinking, why the heck are we talking about the brain? I don't want to know this. And other of you are saying, maybe I do want to know this, but I don't know how much I want to know. No worries. I'm keeping it super simple. I'm just telling you about how to take control, and I'm doing air quotes, over your brain. So number one, what's the brain's job? That's what I want you to know. The brain's job. Number two, how the brain learns. Number three, how to play your brain for change, because you can do that. Number four, we're going to talk about the brain and meditation. Yeah. And so, you know what? I'm going to start there because that's the easiest and fastest one. So, the brain and meditation. Why do people always say, I can't meditate because my brain is so busy, so to speak? My mind is always thinking. And I'm like, okay, what does thinking, why can't you think in meditation? Because somebody told you that wasn't what meditation was. So you have this misconception of meditation that you're supposed to be completely silent. And maybe somewhere you read that and maybe that was true for that person or that thing or that monk that you were studying. But that's not necessarily what meditation is, and it is especially not necessary for meditation. But this is what the brain will think. And I want to ask you a question though, and this will help you understand or agree and say, oh, thank you, Kanae. Do you ever try to get your heart to stop beating? Okay. Do you ever try to stop your stomach from digesting? Do you ever try to get your lungs to stop breathing? No, of course not. The answer is no to all of those. So why would you ask the brain to stop doing its job? Why would you ask it to stop thinking? You don't ask the other organs to stop. So let the brain do what it's do. It's a brilliant machine or whatever it is. Organ. It's brilliant and its job is to think so it can keep you alive. That is the brain's job. Gonna wrap into number 2 now. Brain's job is to keep you alive. Nothing else. That is not to give you pleasure. That's not the brain's job. It's not to make sure you enjoy life, have fun. Not the brain's job. Find purpose. Not the brain's job. Yeah, did you just pick that nugget up? The brain, stop thinking about your purpose. That is not where you get your purpose. It doesn't come from your thoughts. It comes from your gut. But I'll talk about that later in another episode next week. Anyway, I'm going to help you find your purpose, yes, and it's not by thinking. The brain's job is to think and to keep you alive. And we've been talking about survival and staying alive through this COVID-19. And I'm not going to talk too much about COVID-19. I want to use it as an example, though, because the brain's job is to keep you alive. And I know that's not enough, but that's where it starts. So let the brain do its job. Let it keep you alive. And then count on the heart and the gut to do those other things like find purpose and have fun. But let the brain do what it does. And I know survival, and you can tell me, is surviving all you want, or would you like to thrive? Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to thrive. You don't want to just stay alive. You want to live. Am I right? Okay. Well, don't expect that from the brain. So let the brain do what it do and just be appreciative. Just say, thank you, brain. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful that you do all the thinking you do. And some of us, our brains think a lot. So we really have to be giving it some gratitude, because for me, it is nonstop, constant think. I am always strategizing. And so that's why I'm alive. I am alive. Thank you, brain. But and I know some of you know my pain because you are thinkers too. And that is just the brain's job. And so you just gotta take it and receive it, and be thankful for it. Because let me tell you about the brain, because the brain learns fast and the brain learns slow. That's number three. And the way that does it is, brain learning fast is a catastrophic event. Like something happens, you get food poisoning, you have a heart attack, you are in a car accident, like you get shut into your house, like whatever. It's something like a catastrophic event. You just like that, you have to learn. You have to learn. You could get it from like a 3-day intensive workshop or something like that too. You can create a catastrophic event in your life. Or there's time and repetition, like how you learn your ABCs. ABC, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, da, 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 da. Eventually got to the end, Z, and now I know my ABCs. Yay. Well, or muscle memory, you know how you start to like do a dance and eventually you got that dance down. You can do it without thinking. You used to have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or maybe lifting weights or something. And then eventually your brain or your muscle got used to that weight, and then you went up to the next weight. That's the way the brain learns: time and repetition, or a catastrophic event. Now, you can create the catastrophic event in your life by doing hypnotherapy or some other healing modality, or you could go to an intensive workshop or retreat. There's ways to recreate that catastrophic event in your life, but you'll still need that time and repetition. So you have that catastrophic event, and then you have to practice what you're doing. And this COVID-19, this quarantine, is kind of like both. We got the catastrophic event and we got the time and repetition. So we should kind of be thankful for this. I know it's hard to be thankful, but in our Control the Controllable program, we talk about being thankful for our challenges. It's the step 4 in the Control the Controllable program. And what I really want you to understand is that there are things happening in your life that you have control over. Your brain is partly one of them. Some things you can't control, but some things you can control. And so let me talk about how to play your brain for change. Your brain is like a CD, except it's stuck on one song. It's like it's playing that same song over and over and over again. So you know how Einstein said, doing the same thing expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And it's not. It's the definition of humanity. We all do it. We all do the same thing expecting a different result. We can't help it. It's just the way that our brains are wired. That's the brain's job, is to go towards familiar, because familiar to the brain is good and unfamiliar to the brain is bad. Unfamiliar is bad. Familiar, good. Just know that that is the way the brain thinks, very caveman-like, very primitive. Your brain is very primitive. You know how they say we only use 10% of our brains? Well, that is the conscious brain. That part is only about 10%. Then you have your emotional brain. I call the conscious brain the top brain. Your emotional brain is your middle brain. And that's where all the emotions happen. That's where your subconscious is. And that's really governing a lot of what we do. So that change that we have to go there to make the change. And then there's the primitive, like involuntary stuff that happens. This is where anxiety hangs out. And we're going to talk deeper about anxiety. And then I'll bring some more brain talk into that, not at probably towards the end of next week. So that's the brain. And as I was saying, that primitive brain, that involuntary stuff, that's still part of your brain working. And it goes back to what I said first. You're that involuntary stuff that's happening, that primitive stuff, you're not able to control that. You're not able to stop it. So you're not going to be able to stop your thoughts. You're not going to be able to stop your heart. You're not going to be able to stop your breath. You might be able to influence it or control it. Yeah, you can slow your heart down by just taking a breath, like I just needed to do, right? I was talking so fast and just taking a breath. And this is our 10 minutes. So I'm about to wrap this up because when you breathe and you take a slower breath, it will slow your heart down. Now, it won't stop it. You don't have control over that. It's still going to beat, but it's going to beat slower because when, like, I was just on 10 right there, my heart was probably beating like 10 miles an hour or whatever. I don't know what I just said, but it was beating fast. And my stomach was probably not digesting because it was just trying to pump blood to the heart because my heart was on 10. Because I love podcasting. I love talking to you guys and I love you so much. And so I get really excited when I get to do this. So I want to wrap it up because it's been, oh my gosh, it's been 11 minutes. Okay. Thank you for sticking in there with me. Here we go. So recap: the brain and meditation. Don't worry about stopping your brain from thinking because your brain is freaking awesome. Let it think. It's its job. Its job is to think about how to keep you alive. And you want to keep alive. You're not going to learn how to live, though, from your brain, how to thrive from your brain. That's going to come from your heart and your gut, which I'm going to give you later next week. But you've got to learn your brain. How does your brain learn? Fast and slow. Catastrophic event, time and repetition. And you're going to use that catastrophic event and time and repetition to play your brain because that CD is playing over and over and over again. And you got to change the CD. You got to change the music. You've got to take control. Can't always do that by yourself, though. So I just gave you a bunch of nuggets. This last one, though, you might need some help with. And you can either get that help from me or you can get that help from somebody else. But don't try and do it by yourself. You can, but it'll take much longer. That time and repetition will be, the time will be much longer and the repetition will be much more repetitive. A lot of trial and error. I'd say the easiest way for you to do that is to take the controllable guide that I created that helps you manage your brain, manage your thoughts, because there are just a few things that are causing you stress and you can handle them. But the three of the top, I call them the three T's, and that's trauma, toxins, and thoughts. And I'm going to talk to you more about those next week. I am definitely going to talk about trauma and I'm going to talk about toxins because they are important and they are often causing us stress. But thoughts, those are the ones that you do control more than trauma, more than toxins. You control your thoughts. And I want to help you take back that control by taking the controllable guide. And it is available on my website at presidentiallifestyle.com. I'll put a link in the notes below so you can just scroll down this and click on that link and it'll take you right there. And there are a couple of options on the website, but the one that I want you to pay attention to is the controllable guide. It's really inexpensive way to work with me, and I know it'll help. I've seen it help so many people. But then once you take it, if you decide you want to work with me directly, you can do that too. But right now, I'm just saying, you may not want that. Like, you may not be ready to commit and take a big step like that. So just take like a baby step. Because if you want something different in your life, you might want your life to stay the same, which is fine. I'm not there with you. I'm in another tribe. But if you are in the tribe that wants change in your life, who wants to thrive, live, then you need to be there. Tomorrow, I'm doing a masterclass. And if you're listening to this on time, then you can be part of that masterclass. Go ahead and visit the website. I'll put the link in the show notes for the masterclass as well. But all I want you to do right now is think about how to change your brain. I gave you everything you needed really quickly. And so go back and listen, but I got to go because I want to keep my promise to you to keeping this to 10 to 15 minutes. And I guess I should just be saying 15 minutes because it's not been 10 minutes yet. So thank you for being here with me. I want you to have a prosperous weekend, my prosperos. Okay? I love you so much. I mean it. Thank you. See you next week.